full of fun, fandom, and unforgettable moments. Coming up on the hero's main stage is a commanding presence from some of the most epic stories in film and television. You've seen him as Dwalin in The Hobbit, Ruben Mackenzie in Outlander, and Sir Harold Westerling in House of the Dragon. He's a veteran actor with a career that spans fantasy, drama, action, and even voice work in fan-favorite games and animation. Let's make some noise and give a legendary welcome to the incredible Graham McTavish.
That was amazing. I wish I had that playing in my house for whenever my kids come home. Yeah.
Welcome to Finland!
Yes, thank you. Thank you. It's very nice to be here. I've always wanted to come to Finland.
So you have never been here?
Never been. I went to Norway. I did a film there in 1989 called Eric the Viking. And that's the only time I've been to Norway. That was in Tromsø. We did some of the filming there.
It's a beautiful city.
Yeah, it was beautiful. The beer was very expensive.
Same here.
So expensive. Anyway, so I've been there, been to Denmark, been to Sweden, but no, this is the first time. Finland.
Have you had a chance to explore the city at all?
Nothing. No. Seen nothing. No, I've seen the inside of this convention center and my hotel. So far, Finland is great. Nothing to disappoint, and a wonderful crowd of people. This is lovely.
Yeah, I think the coolest people in Finland are currently in this convention center.
I would say so, yes. Yes. There is an absence of cool everywhere else in Finland at this moment. There's nothing.
But, because you apparently are a Finnish expert, I will give you some questions about Finland and let's say how you do.
Okay, yeah, fine, yeah.
All right, first question. Is Finland part of Scandinavia?
You see, you'd think that would be a really easy question, but I feel like it's a trick question.
Or is it?
Or is it a trick question? Okay, I'm gonna say yes. No? Yes? No, well, it was one or the other.
That's true, it was 50-50.
50-50. So it's not part of Scandinavia?
No.
Really? So,
I'm
I feel ashamed. I'm so sorry.
But now you know.
Yeah.
We're here to learn.
Okay.
So let's give you a half point, because you all
half point, yeah. Practically right, just not correct.
Next question. What is the achievement Finland has received 8 times in a row? 8 years in a row.
8 years in a row?
Yes.
An achievement? Like an award or...
I would say it's an award, right? Yeah.
Oh my god. I'm gonna really suck at this. This is... 8 times in a row. Is it a sport?
No.
No, it's not a sport. Okay.
I think the audience can give some hints.
Hint. Yes, anything.
Happiness.
The most content people in the world?
Yes, the happiest
Is that right?
country in the world.
The happiest people in the world. That's fantastic.
So 1.5 points for you. The last question.
Yeah.
Which of these is a Finnish word? Sisu, sushi, or susa?
Sisu.
Perfect! And speaking of sisu, I have a tradition to give some salmiakki to all the guests, so here are...
Why are you laughing?
These are very, very good, so if you want to try, they are licorice.
Am I making a terrible mistake?
No.
So what do you suck them or do you chew them?
You can improv.
Right. Okay. Oh. Yeah.
It's not bad.
That's interesting, yeah. It's a very unique flavor, isn't it? I like it.
I'll give you 9 out of 10 from your Finnish knowledge.
9 out of 10?
Yeah.
But that's fine. I'm practically finished.
Yeah, practically a native. All right, let's start the Q&A session. So everyone who has a question, let's form a line here. 1 question per person, and when we are ready,
Wow, that's okay.
begin.
A few questions, right? Nope, just force your way in there. There you go. Nope, don't be last. Don't be last. Don't be last.
Perfect. All right.
Yeah, start the questions. I'm nervous now. You look very, very formidable standing there, sir. Your arms folded and a beard.
I'm trying to be.
Oh yeah, puff. Good, good.
So, first of all, Baruch Kazan.
Ah, yes, dwarvish.
Yeah.
I recognize that.
But the question is, if you get the horrible accident that you have to act in Hobbit or Lord of the Rings again,
Right.
and you have to act as an elf, which one are you choosing?
Oh, dear. Being an elf. Yeah, we didn't really like the elves much. Yeah, it was a constant kind of battle between us, one way or another, on set. No, I would say elf. Well, I mean, you know, I know it's a stretch, but Galadriel. I mean, come on. I mean, we're indistinguishable. You would look at it and you go, there's Galadriel. Yeah, just give it. In fact, I did a show with Sam Hewen when we did Men in Kilts. It's called. We did it in New Zealand, and I don't know if you've seen the New Zealand one, but we go to Weta Workshop, which is where they do all the prosthetics for the Hobbit and everything. And Sam was dressed as a dwarf. He was done in a whole makeup as a dwarf, and I was done as an elf. Sam looked amazing as a dwarf. It was a complete transformation. He became a different person. It was remarkable. He was called Groin. I, however, as an elf, looked shit. I looked awful. I just had a ridiculous beard with the long wig and the ears. It was just a disaster. But he looked fantastic. So I would be a terrible elf. That's right.
All right, thank you very much.
I would have done you as an elf.
Okay, thank you.
Hi again, thank you for coming to Finland to see us all and looking forward to Men in Kill Season 3. My question is, have you already gotten your dream role, and if yes, what it was, and if not, what would be the genre and the character type that you still would like to do?
Dream role. Very difficult. I mean, yeah, I've enjoyed many of them. I've been lucky enough to do been in some shows that I was a fan of. So like I did 24 years ago, and I was a huge fan of that show with Kiefer Sutherland. You know, that was amazing. I was a huge fan of the Preacher comic book novels, and I was lucky enough to then do the TV show of that, The Saint of Killers, which was my absolute favourite character in the books. So that was kind of weird. I was a big fan of Rambo, and then I got to be in Rambo, and that was weird. That was definitely an odd one because I had a great time in that film, and Sylvester Stallone was extraordinary. I've never come across anybody in my life that has that kind of work ethic. It's so committed. Anyway, I was doing it, and there was this moment where, well, first of all, I'm going to go off on a tangent here, but first of all, when I went up for the job, I was sitting in the office waiting to do the audition. Right? I'd memorized the lines, and I was looking around, and there were all these posters of Sylvester Stallone, just here, different things, Cobra, Rambo, Rocky, and everything. And then I realized I was in his office, and I was like, and while I was processing that, I just felt this presence appear, and I heard this voice say, "Hey, how you doing?" And I looked up, and there he was. And I could not believe it. And I remember all I could think, and pardon my swearing, all I could think was, it's fucking Rocky. It's Rocky. And I remember I kind of half stood up. I sort of went, just gibberish. It was so embarrassing. But anyway, when we came to filming it, to kind of answer your question, I was doing a scene with him, and we were doing it multiple times, we improvised a lot of it. And I was doing the scene with him, and he was saying, you know, the boat man stays in the fucking boat, you know, whatever it is, blah, 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 fuck the boat man, fuck this, whatever it was. And I was looking at him, and I suddenly thought, I'm talking to Rambo. And he's talking to me. And it was like I'd stepped into the film. Like if you're watching it and you just stepped inside it and suddenly it was all happening around you. That's what it felt like. So at the same time as I was able to actually do the scene, there was a part of my brain that was aware of this very weird experience that was happening to me. So that was very, very profound for me. But in terms of roles that I haven't done, I mean, I don't know, like a James Bond villain. I'd love to be a James Bond villain. They're just great. And they're great. They're just, you know, I mean, I love James Bond, but the villains, they're just the best. So I would love to be a James Bond villain, if anybody's listening.
You'd be great at it.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. You're obviously a big fan of TV and film, so do you love watching yourself act?
Do I love watching myself act? No, I don't. No, I don't watch myself. No, very rarely. Only if I have to. So, like, if I go to premieres, like I've only seen The Hobbit at the premieres, and I have seen it with my kids. Yeah. But other than that, I've only seen. I mean, this is very, very embarrassing. I've only seen 2 episodes of Outlander. I know it's awful, isn't it? I just sit there like this. God. I've rarely seen anything that I've been in. I don't know why exactly. It's not that I'm ashamed of anything. It's just, I guess because it's like when I watched The Hobbit, when I watched it with my children, I could remember what was happening in every single moment of the film. What we were saying before each take, what was happening, the jokes. So you're not able to enjoy the film as a story. It's just like a kind of reminiscence. So it's a different experience. Yeah.
All right.
Hello, very nice to meet you. And my question is, what it was like to work with Jason Momoa in Aquaman?
Oh. What was it like to work with Jason Momoa in Aquaman? Well, this is going to be a very short answer. I never actually worked with him because I didn't have any scenes with him. So when you see the movie, even though we appear to be in the same space, I was on a green screen stage. Well, it was all shot on green screen, really. I was on a green screen stage, and I did my bit, and then he did his bit separately. So, like, there's a moment in Aquaman where you see me, I'm sort of conducting the ocean. There are, like, whales leaping out of the sea, and there's all this. I was in a car park in Australia, in front of a green screen. It was the least romantic, interesting location imaginable. Apart from being in a toilet doing it, I can't think of anything worse. So, I didn't even meet him. I didn't even meet Jason. No. I've met him at conventions. Very nice man. But I've never actually technically worked with him. And that's a weird thing about this business, is it's like Castlevania, that some people know. The voice acting in that, everybody did their piece separately. I think I worked one day with Emily Swallow, who plays my wife, which, well, yes, the one that's burnt at the stake. She was there with me. That was one day. Everything else was done with nobody else around it. It was the same for everyone else. So it's a trick. It's slightly disillusioning actually when you realise that they weren't even in the same room. But yeah, so sorry about that.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
I would assume it's very difficult to get into character if everything is just green and you have nothing to work with.
Yeah, green screen is not, I don't think it's anybody's favourite experience. I mean, I remember Ian McKellen, when we were doing The Hobbit, we had to do, one of the first things we did was bag end. And so we were on separate stages because we were using something called slave motion control. So that involved the actual bag end set where all the dwarves were. And then there was a scaled down version of the bag end set, which was a green screen set that Ian was on. And we were connected with, we had earpieces, and the cameras were slave to each other. So whenever they moved in one set, they moved to the other, and the two images were melded together in real time. He had lighting stands with our faces on them that lit up when we spoke. And we had to look at a space where Ian would be. And of course, where I'm looking, if I'm sitting here, is different from where you're looking, because your perspective's different. So if anybody was looking in the wrong place, the whole thing fell apart. So it took us days to get that first scene, and Ian found it very, very distressing. When we came to do it, he actually broke down crying. Yeah, you can laugh now. He was weeping. Because, I mean, I remember him saying, this isn't why I became an actor. Those were his exact words. And he found it very, very alienating to be in a space where there was nothing physical to react to. It was just green. And it's kind of weird. I haven't done loads of it. In fact, most of The Hobbit was done on practical sets or locations with maybe green screen background. But it's good to have, like, you know, tables, chairs, all that kind of thing, because otherwise it is disconcerting.
Acting is about interaction, so if
Yeah.
you remove that, it's difficult.
Yeah.
Right.
So I'm continuing that same story. Well, I'm kind of fascinated about production, health, and sorts of things. So one of your dwarf co-stars said, maybe one of them, 10 of them, I don't remember the name, but he said that when the decision came to do 3 Hobbit movies, so he said that in the end of the day it felt like dwarves became kind of overpaid extras. So yeah, this is kind of awkward question. So did you have the same feeling?
Yeah, I think, well, it depends. I mean, I get what he means. I mean, some dwarves, that was their experience more than others, I suppose. But certainly the way the story was done, I mean, my personal favourite of the 3 is the first film. I love the first movie, the Hobbit trilogy, because it was, to me, the most faithful, I think, to the book. And there became more of an involvement of the elf characters as the story progressed, which, you know, I mean, I understand all the different commercial reasons why this is the case. But yeah, there was a little bit of resentment from some of the guys about that. But to be absolutely honest, I had such an amazing experience on that film. I wouldn't change it for anything. There was not a day where I didn't pinch myself and think, my God, I'm doing this. The entire process was just extraordinary. And there were really hard days. There were very challenging, physically challenging days. I mean, I trained for, 5 months physical training to get ready to do it. because I knew what was coming. And we were wearing costumes that weighed between 30 and 35 kilograms. You know, I had giant boots, prosthetic and all the rest of it. And you would do a fight, for instance, and your heart rate would spike immediately, but there was nowhere for the heat to go. So you would get very, very physically tired, so you had to train to be able to recover from that. And just the process of getting into the makeup. And some people found that very difficult. Some people found that more difficult than others. But I never, ever complained. Never. And Jed Brophy, who you may have met, he never complained either. In fact, Jed Brophy, I never saw, who played Norrie, I never saw him sit down. He never sat down. The most he would do was kneel, like sort of crouch. He would never sit on a seat. He was just like this beast that never got tired. And we were all just, a lot of us would be like this. Oh my God, that's what I need. Why do you want us to do it again? Oh my God. And Jed was just amazing. But some people complained more than others. But they were weak. So, yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Hello.
So, speaking of the Hobbit, how smelly were the fish in The Desolation of Smaug?
How small were they?
Smelly.
Smelly. Oh, the fish. The fish, it was monstrous. And I do truly believe that Peter Jackson does these things just to torture me. Because there's no other explanation. I had to come out of the toilet. We were in barrels that were going down a real river, desperately trying not to drown. Quite literally. Richard Armitage nearly drowned. He had to be rescued by the stunt team. And Peter would just be laughing. And when it came to the fish, we came in, and I remember he picked the people. So I had dialogue, so I had to do it. Richard had dialogue, he had to do it. I think Adam had dialogue. And then he picked Jed, who, because he was so tough, picked Jed, and Mark Hadlow, because Peter just wanted to annoy Mark as much as possible. Because Mark was, he won't mind me telling you this, Mark's such a sort of kiss ass. Do you know that expression? Yeah. He's just constantly telling you how marvellous you are, or going up to Peter going, you're just amazing, Peter, you're just fantastic. And Peter doesn't really like that, so he just chose to torture Mark. And also William Kircher, he chose to torture William. So they were brought in, and the first thing we see is a stuntman in a barrel wearing a crash helmet. You think, right, why would he be wearing a crash helmet? What could possibly go wrong? And then they proceeded to pour a load of fish on his head that went up to here, okay? Up to here. And we were like, right, okay. And it was pretty smelly, very, very, very smelly. And then it was our turn. And the first person to get in, I think, was Adam Brown. And they did it, up to here, cut. And Peter said, nah. And Peter talks a little bit like that. It's kind of slightly stuttery kind of a voice. And he said, no, more fish. We need more fish. So they put more fish in this trough above our heads. And Adam went in again. And Adam was phobic of fish. I didn't even know that existed as a fear. How can you be afraid of fish? But he is phobic of fish. And so he goes in, sits there in the barrel, and it's like, okay, you see Bard, and you're angry, you're suspicious, and fish! And this trough opened, and 200 kilograms of fish poured onto his head. Right? And he just went, and just disappeared. And it was like, and when I came to do it, I realized what it was like. It was like being in liquid concrete. So you had to put your fingers in front of your mouth so that you could breathe. Otherwise you would die. And he's in there, and of course he can't speak. So Peter's going, are you okay, Adam? You all right? Nothing, no sound. And so they're trying to take the fish out, and they're taking them out one at a time because it's so difficult, they're so slippery. And it takes about 10 minutes for his head to emerge. And just nightmarish. I'm Irish, and we did that 5 times each. 5 times. So that, and we stank. The set stank, our clothes stank, we stank. It was just. And to top it all, Peter Jackson refused to be in the same set because he hated fish so much. What kind of a twisted mind does that to somebody? Oh, I hate fish. I'm going to make these guys be buried in 200 kilograms of fish for my own pleasure. Yeah, so there you go. Very smart.
So my question is, if you would make a movie with any actor, dead or alive, who would it be and why?
Oh God, what movie would I make with any actor, dead or alive? Bloody hell. I mean, God, there's so many. I mean, the recently deceased great actor, Gene Hackman, I would have loved to work with him. I think he was a truly, truly great actor and a great person. I never had the pleasure of meeting him, but people I know who did just said it was amazing. I would love to have worked with Sean Connery. God, all these people are dead. It's interesting. Sean Connery, I saw him once in the street in Edinburgh, and I was saying to someone earlier actually that I just finished doing a play, so it was very late. It was about 11:30, walking down the main street in Edinburgh, and this guy was walking towards me with his wife, who was quite small, and I've never seen anybody who looked more like a movie star than him. He was just, it just exuded charisma, and I thought about speaking to him, because it was only us on the street, but I didn't do it because I kind of didn't want to spoil the magic of him, you know. I knew him obviously from his work, and I just wanted to preserve that in my head. And so I just watched him walk past me, and I didn't even say a word. But I would love to have worked with him.
Thank you very much. Anyone alive?
What's that?
Do you have
Anyone alive? No, I hate everyone who's No.
Fair enough.
Hello, my name is Joel. My wife is much more like hardcore fan of yours. But I myself, I love the Men on Kilts.
Oh yeah, okay.
And your portrait of Sir Harold Westerling.
Oh yes.
Really, really good.
Thank you.
But those are not my questions. I must ask, is it the thing for Scottish men who are successful to build their own whiskey brands? Because when I saw that you made it, I was like, maybe I should have it in my collections.
Yes, whiskey. Yeah. Well, mine of course is bourbon. Sam's is Scotch. And I mean, it's going to sound like terrible heresy, but I actually prefer bourbon to Scotch, just from personal palate taste. Completely terrible. I had to pretend for years not to be like that. I was like this closet bourbon lover. And now I'm free. I can just tell people all the time I love bourbon. And yeah, I mean, it happened like many things in my life by accident. I got into acting by accident. I got into writing really by accident. I got into producing things myself by accident. There wasn't like a plan, and it was the same. Men in Kilts was kind of accidental. I had this idea of doing something like that, and I'd mentioned it to Sam, and he rang me, like, I don't know, 2 years, 3 years later. They said, oh, you remember that idea you had? Do you think that would be fun? We should maybe do that? And I was like, oh yeah, sure. I'm just not thinking about what it would involve. Just like, yeah, why not? And it was the same with the bourbon. Somebody just contacted me and said, would you be interested in doing this? And I said, oh, sure. And not realizing just how complicated having your own business is. I mean, anyone here who has their own business, I am so impressed because it's extraordinarily complicated thing to be managing. The logistics, the purchase orders, the invoices. I just can't cope with it, but I like the bourbon, so that's it.
Thank you very much.
Hello. So concerning Castlevania, your role as a Dracula, did you find any scene more challenging to voice act than other, or did it all go smoothly for you?
Well, was there anything that was more difficult in Castlevania than anything else? Yeah, it's no is the short answer. No, I loved doing that role so much. I loved the way Warren Ellis, the writer, humanized Dracula in that example. I played him on stage, and there isn't an actor alive who has ever played Dracula, I think, who hasn't had a really great time. He's just an extraordinary character, so representative of something very dark, but at the same time very attractive, and he's very complex. And so doing the voice acting on that was I wouldn't say it was easy, but I found myself being able to fit into his character relatively well. And yeah, it was just a pleasure to do it. I wish I was able to do more of it. But yeah, I've done another animated thing that, well, Devil May Cry is out now on Netflix, but I'm in the second season, which will be coming out probably in 2 years' time. And that was really fun. That was great fun. Yeah, it was really enjoyable, and pretty different to Dracula, but he's a great character. So yes, you should look forward to that. It's fun.
Thank you very much.
Hi. So my question is, if you could have played any other character from The Hobbit, who would it have been and why?
Oh gosh, who would I have played in The Hobbit other than Llewellyn? Oh God. Let me think. Well, I've already said Galadriel, so I can't use that one again. Well, I mean, Gandalf is a pretty great character. Just so interesting. I mean, in Ian, it was wonderful to watch him work. It was watching a master technician. Beautiful to watch. But he was very naughty, constantly trying to make us laugh. So whenever the camera was on him, very serious, very Gandalf, very sort of like that, very deep, lots of meaningful expressions. But then when it was on us, he would just be trying to make us laugh. So I'm trying to think there was one, he described, we'd just been taken by the eagles and dropped. And it was the beginning, I think, of the next film. And his line was, "The eagles will take you no further." And when he turned on us, he managed to change it to "The beagles will take you no further." And we were just like, take after take, just laughing. "I'm sorry, but the beagles will take you no further." He was very bad. And some things which I can't repeat, they're so rude, that he did. But he was always, any opportunity to make us laugh, he took it. He's a lovely man, lovely.
Thank you. Do you remember a specific take which you have ruined by laughing?
So many takes I've ruined. I'm better than I used to be. I used to be terrible at laughing, especially on stage. People could make me laugh all the time. And what you end up having to do is you have to bite the inside of your cheeks and pinch yourself, basically cause yourself physical pain in order to stop laughing. But I was always corpsing on stage. It was terrible. That's what they call it, corpsing. Where I remember doing, oh God, it's awful. I was doing a play, and this actress who was playing my wife, and it was a comedy. Actress playing my wife used to always try and make me laugh. She was always trying to do it, and I was much better then. I wasn't laughing. And so she came on stage, and all she had to do was greet this person. And she walked on, and she went to speak. And this is not a particularly pleasant story that I'm about to tell you. She went to speak, and she accidentally spat this enormous ball of phlegm into her hand. Right. Oh yeah. So we're on stage in front of about this many people. She spits a huge ball of phlegm into her hand. And we're standing there looking at this ball of phlegm in her hand, just in horror. Right. And then, to top it all, she just goes, "Oh God!" Yep, she did that. She immediately starts laughing. The other actress starts laughing. They walk off the stage. We're supposed to be doing a whole scene together. They just walk off laughing, leaving me alone to stand there and try and carry on the play without them. Well, the audience had just been treated to this horror of this woman gobbing into her own hand. So, yes, what was her name? Angela Chatfield. Yes, lovely lady. But anyway, so that's the kind of thing that used to happen to me on stage. Terrible. I didn't laugh then. So that was your question. I'm so sorry. Back to you. Yes, I promise I won't tell any more phlegm stories.
Hi and welcome to Finland.
Thank you.
Do you mind sharing a story from your years in Outlander?
A story from my years in Outlander. What could I share that wouldn't get me, prosecuted? Oh gosh, okay. Well, one brief story. We had to ride horses, obviously, in the show. And I've always been very good at pretending that I know what I'm doing on a horse. So I'm convincing enough that people go, "Oh yeah, he seems comfortable on a horse." Whereas in fact, I hate being on horses. I don't hate the horse. In fact, the horses have been very kind to me. It's like they look at me with pity when I arrive. Like my horse in Outlander called Lambert. You would almost see him roll his eyes as I would walk towards him. It's just useless. Why do I get stuck with him? And I would get on the horse and I would, ride around looking like I was good. And I did the whole scene with the arms out and everything. And, it was fine. But Grant, who played Rupert, his horse hated him. Hated him. It would take any opportunity to throw him off. And Stephen's horse, Stephen Walters, played Angus, he also just had a terrible time with his horse. And so I remember a scene where we were leaving Castle Lear to go to collect the rents. I think it was the end of episode 4, or the beginning of episode 5. And I'm at the front, and the sun is dipping, so it's the last shot of the day kind of thing, the beautiful golden light and everything. And I'm on my horse, and they're all behind me, this whole line of guys. And all I can hear behind me is Stephen going, "Whoa, whoa, 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 whoa," as he's basically like on a rodeo in the background, just being this horse bucking and throwing him around. I didn't even look round. All I cared about was, am I in focus? Am I in focus? Because they're not going to be able to do this too many times. And so Stephen could have been being killed on his horse, and I would have just carried on. And Grant, he fancied himself as a great singer, and a very nice singing voice. He didn't really ever get the opportunity to use it. Of course, I, as Dougal, had to sing the Maid Get to the Middel Benicht, which is that rousing tune, which is basically just, when you look at the lyrics of that song, I don't know if you've examined these lyrics, but essentially it's just about this promiscuous woman in a hay barn. It's pretty graphic. Anyway, I do the song, and I'm not a great singer. Nobody would pay to watch me sing. Never. I can hold a tune, but only in a group. So you would never win. But I had to sing. And Grant, it used to kill him every single time. And I would love it so much that I would sing even more loudly, just to annoy him. So we would just try and annoy each other. And Duncan, when we were doing the wedding, he's standing behind us. And this wedding went on for days. This bloody wedding between Katrina and Sam, with his name. James, Alexander, Malcolm, Mackenzie, Fraser. Can't it be a little shorter? Just take out one of the names. So Duncan used to add names in the background. So it was like Optimus Prime, Tarzan, King Kong, and he would be saying this, and we'd all still be laughing. It took us 2 days to film it. It was a nightmare.
All right, thank you very much. We have a couple of minutes left, so let's do a very spitfire, quick
I'm just
round of
rambling
questions.
on. Yes.
Oh, hello again.
Yes.
Quick question. Favorite memory or perhaps a story that we have not yet heard from The Hobbit?
Oh God, favourite story from The Hobbit. Oh God. Well, quick, I'll try and make this quick. We were invited by Peter Jackson to a hangar. This was when we weren't filming. Invited to try out a load of weapons. He has this incredible collection of guns, and we fired 3,000 rounds of ammunition in this hangar. Blanks, but still, you know, every kind of machine gun you can imagine, right? And at the end of it, he says, "Oh, would you like to go and drive around in my tank?" And he has a Panzer Mark IV tank in a hangar, right? And so, well, fine. We jump in the thing. I'm in the turret. He's driving. The other 3 or 4 other guys on the thing. We start driving around inside the hangar. It's great, you know. It's a Panzer Mark IV tank. This is amazing. Then he goes out into the car park. And this is about 9 o'clock in the evening, starts driving around. There's a sports centre, 2 guys playing basketball. We start going towards them, and they don't realise that they're very loud. I don't know if you've ever been in a tank, but they are very loud. And we're going towards these 2 guys, and at the very last minute, they turn around, and they see the barrel of a Panzer Mark IV tank basically inches from their faces. And it's the only time in my life I've seen somebody's jaws actually drop over. And then, to top it all, he goes out of the car park, into the street. And now we're driving around suburban Wellington in a Panzer Mark IV tank. Driving around, people are coming out of their houses, curtains are twitching, and I'm in the turret, and I couldn't resist. I stood there in the thing, and I apologise to any Germans in the audience, but I stood there and I went, "Relax! Go back to your homes! You will all be with your families soon!" And then the police were called. That was another story, but anyway, that's as fast as I can make it. So sorry.
Thank you very much. We have time for a maximum of 2 questions, so let's...
I'm so sorry about anybody that it's not on.
Well, hello.
Yes.
My question is about Castlevania.
Yep.
So we already know in the first episode of this season the tragedy that leads to the main story of this season.
Yes.
About the Dracula, of course. Exceptional character. Really, wanted to congratulate you on this performance. Really amazing. So my question was, so we know what will lead it to this tragedy and what he will do, and I wanted to know it for what you said of him will do for that place.
What would I do in that circumstance?
Yeah, if the circumstance we know. I don't want to spoil.
No. But so if something terrible had happened to my wife, what would I do? Yeah, probably pretty similar to Dracula. Yeah, you know, just raze everything to the ground, salt the earth, kill everybody. Yeah, pretty much. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you very much. And now one last question.
I'm so sorry to anybody else.
Hello. How was it to star in the TV series Navy Criminal Investigative Service?
Oh, sorry. What? I was in NCIS.
Yes.
Yes, I played a Russian.
Yeah.
I did. I had to learn Russian. I wouldn't say I now speak Russian, but I learned it for the role. Great fun. The only thing I can remember is "Stoyat это приказ," which I think is "stop or I'll shoot" or something like that. But that was my experience of being a Russian. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Unfortunately, that is our time today. Thank you so much for your stories.
I'm sorry if I rambled on. I do get a bit carried away with certain stories. It's but the people that wanted to ask questions, if you come and see me at the desk, I'll do my best to answer them.
Thank you so much, audience, and thank you very much, Graham